And just like that, the next episode has begun. Welcome back to Ghost Trick Phantom Detective. I'm your host, MegaShadowFist. It's like a video, it's like a commentary. Last left off, we were here having a monologue, ladies and gentlemen. I bet you weren't expecting that. Now, why do I say that at the beginning of every episode? The things I do on my channel, most of which started by accident, and I just do them anyway. Who knows? Anyway, all of a sudden, I'm left behind alone. Alone in the room that stole that little lady's smile away 5 years ago. This little lady is gone now, leaving me with only a few new facts. A few very heavy, very sad facts. Does Lynn know all about this? One other thing stands out in my mind. I can sense your presence. The sum of that kidnapper's final words. Do those two know? Do the kidnappers know about the powers of the dead? Alright, save a current place and time? Yes, please. Continue playing? Yes, please. Chapter 12, 12:25 a.m. It looks like the kidnappers made a big mistake. The girl in the trunk is Detective Zhao's daughter, Camilla, not the minister's daughter. When I got back to the Justice Minister's office, things were getting even more out of hand. The devastated man was being grilled by the fiery detective lady. I told Lynn what I found out about the kidnapping, that it wasn't the Justice Minister's daughter who had been abducted, that the kidnapper had been holed up in Camilla's old house, and that they sensed my presence and were already gone. But Camilla? Why do they have Camilla? Her father isn't that stupid old Justice Minister! I think the stupid old part is a little uncalled for. It looks like the kidnappers made a mistake somehow. The poor girl! Kidnapped for the ransom of her own father's execution! It's just too much! It's a cruel twist of fate, I agree. And then there are those other twists too. Like the kidnappers winding up and then using Camilla's old house as their hideout? There's no way it could be just coincidence! And then sensing my presence. They seem to know about the powers of the dead. I just don't understand any of it! I told you before, Detective! I want you to stand back! Who cares about distance at a time like this? Look, Mr. Minister, it wasn't your daughter that was kidnapped! Don't try to pretend you didn't hear what we were saying. Ah! How can I believe in you? I'm a realist! Please! If you don't believe what we say, see for yourself. Just go home and... I tried calling 100 times, my wife won't answer! She won't? It's complicated! Oh, why does life have to be such a complicated thing? But if she doesn't answer, doesn't that mean everything's normal? It doesn't prove it! And I'm being watched, I can't have the police go check for me! Besides, if the execution isn't carried out tonight, the hostage will be killed! What difference does it make that it's not my daughter? Now he has a point there, actually. Okay, that has to be, whatchamacallit, Zvani! The ace detective, Detective Cabanella. Woo-wee, that's quite a pickle, Mr. Detective, quite a pickle. Miss me, baby? Inspector Cabanella! Spotty, how's it going? Yeah, the ace detective. One groovy man. I have a little report for you, Mr. Minister. The escaped prisoner has been apprehended. Thought you might like to see him, so here he is. Jowd, what are you doing here? Detective Jowd! Detective Jowd! I'm so sorry, I tried! I know that you're innocent! I just can't prove it. I'm so sorry. Lynn, please don't apologize to me. Ah, the beautiful love between a teacher and a student. It brings a tear to my eye. Alright, trick time, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, they actually... Two things! Okay, sure. I was gonna say, have my own thoughts on this whole thing, but no, the game doesn't want me to. Lynn doesn't really know that Zhaoud is innocent. She just believes it from the bottom of her heart. The execution and kidnapping are real threats, and time marches on. I'll gather information and see if I can think of something. This all relates back to me somehow. I just know it. Wait, hold on. Wait, I didn't think of something here. Detective Zhao was able to sense Sissel's presence after he died for some reason, right? And everyone else is basically able to do the same thing. Like, the Justice Minister is able to hear us even when we're inside of Lin's head and things of that sort. So, perhaps the girl, the blue-haired blonde girl who I gave the Muffet voice to, which sometimes I accidentally give her the Evil Dahlia voice, perhaps she died at one point? I guess that's the only logical outcome, Rita Mordio. You knew, didn't you, Inspector Cabanella, that the execution was tonight? I don't believe I had any obligation to tell you. And you're fine with this? I mean, you know as well as I do. Detective Zhao could never have done such a thing. Ha 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 ha! Ah, come on now, baby, I know no such thing. Huh? I know two things to be true and two things only. One, he was given a death penalty. And two, he tried to escape. What else could I do but haul him in, baby? If that's the case, why did you bring him here? Whatever do you mean, young lady? He escaped from prison, right? So why didn't you just take him back to the prison? I think you only brought him here to brag about your accomplishment. Isn't that right, Inspector? For your own selfish reasons. So were all those rumors about you true? That the only thing you care about is a spotless record? Is that more important to you than saving a friend? Everybody has certain principles that they can't go back on, including me. You'll understand that someday, baby. I think that's Zhao. That's enough, Lin! But Detective Zhao! I'm a death row inmate who escaped from prison. This is how it should be. But... oh, the heavy burden! First and foremost, we're gonna talk to the Justice Minister for whatever reason. Sure, why not? My poor Emily! Is she alright? Actually, the girl who was kidnapped is named Camilla. Why is a dream talking to me in my head again? Shut up, Rose! Wait a minute. Emily? Could that be the Emily next door? Yes, I think so. Wow, I didn't know the Justice Minister lived next door. No, not me! My wife. It's, complicated. Yeah, I bet it would be pretty hard to admit she left him. The Minister's wife ran away on him? Maybe they grew apart, what with him being so busy? Yeah, I bet you're right. Please stop gossiping about me inside of my own head! Alright. Okay, no, no. How am I supposed to... how am I supposed to connect to the... how am I supposed to get over there? Am I supposed to do like a weird arc or oh, I have to wait for him to... I see. I have to boom! Ho! That's how we do it, ladies and gentlemen. Doing our Ghost Trick Sissel moves. We're like American football player, like going through like the defensive team and oh my god, there are those birds again! Okay, I have these really freaking huge crows outside of my house for whatever reason. Like, they're like, you know, like if you ever been to Japan, you know how big the crows are? It's like that, basically, the super huge ones. And they just camp out in my tree right outside my house. Like, there are like a bunch of them. It's like, I don't even know. It's like, I want to make a reference to Dumbo, but that's kinda... I don't mean to make that connotation, if you get my drift. If you saw Dumbo, you should know what I'm talking about here. It's just these... what are they doing? They are freaking huge, and they've just been... I tell you, once there's one crow here, there's like a trillion of them. I tell you, anyway, according to what I heard, Emily is supposed to go to Emily is supposed to go to some sort of lesson tonight. Those horrible kidnappers! They are lying in wait for her! But Emily didn't go out after all. She couldn't. She had a fever. Huh? And so the kidnappers grabbed Camilla by mistake instead? Apparently, Emily and Camilla are about the same age. The kidnappers must have gotten the two of them mixed up. It's my fault! If I hadn't asked Camilla to do that errand for me, this never would have happened. Oh, right, you asked her to bring the music box. Camilla. Alright, can we actually talk to Jowd, I wonder? His core was gone, so... What? But his core was gone last time, why... Remember, like Sissel was like, oh, the core is gone, so I can't go after... Don't trust other people's memories. Look for what you seek with your own eyes. I'll remember that. They're gone. There's nothing left here. No hope and no cores either. Without any cores, I can't follow after them. This is the end of my adventure. Plot hole! Talk. How's it going? So, Mr. Ghost, we meet again. I hear something happened. Something about a kidnapping? Some kidnappers are saying they abducted the Justice Minister's daughter. That's terrible. What's their demand? The carrying out of your execution. Tonight. I had no idea I was so hated. But the minister doesn't have to worry. I die and it's all over. Very simple. It's not that simple! Why not? Because it isn't really the minister's daughter who got kidnapped. It's Camilla! What? Camilla? I checked it out for myself, I'm positive. No! It can't be! And by the way, Camilla told me something interesting. She said the one who killed her mother 5 years ago was Camilla herself. What? What are you talking about? Don't listen to him! I'm going into like Gumshoe voice right now. I've never yelled with the wise sage voice, because wise sages don't yell. So, don't listen to him! I'm the one who shot her! I'm the one who shot Alma! And when I'm executed tonight, that will be the end of it. Camilla won't have to suffer any more after tonight. For a capable detective, you say some incredibly misguided things. You dying isn't going to end that girl's suffering. It'll just bring her new suffering. The only person's pain this execution is going to ease is yours. Is it true? What Camilla said? Why don't you tell us what you know? Okay, sure. Actually wasn't expecting... Why wasn't I expecting a full dialogue chain? That's a good question. Me, the murder 5 years ago. To be honest, I still don't understand what happened that day. It was my wife's, Alma's, birthday. We came home from work and she went in first. Wait, can the Justice Minister hear all this? I think he can. He should be able to, but he's just gonna say it's Mom! Mom! What was that noise? I looked for the shooter, but there was nobody to be found. There was nobody there besides Alma and Camilla, just the two of them. So the little lady's mother died right in front of her. Oh my, that's so horrible. Camilla told me about it. She was crying. She said the contraption she made did something it wasn't supposed to do. So it wasn't supposed to. Made an impossible move. An impossible move? I do have to wonder why there are paintings, and they're not paintings, there are... I can understand why a gun would be framed, but why a gun with live ammunition that can be fired at any rate? Like, how? Like, how does that happen? Second of all, like, I don't know. Like, is the gun, like, sticking outside of it or something? Like, sure, like, if it was inside of the... If it was framed inside of the thing, like the way that I saw it, you'd have to shoot through the picture frame. And sure, if it was a powerful enough gun, it would do it, but then... I don't know. Like, it wouldn't be a perfect shot, because that would cause... I don't know. Why am I acting like I'm knowledgeable in gun physics? I'm not. The powers of the dead. It's been 5 years since then. I stopped thinking about it. I shot Alma. There's no other explanation. That's what I convinced everyone of. That's what convinced everyone of. Even me. But tonight, you showed up and gave me an explanation I never would have thought of before. The powers of the dead, right? That day, in that room, powers that I didn't understand were at work. And if that's the case, it clears up all the mysteries. Maybe not all. There are a couple of other people who know about those powers.
Is somebody there? Can you hear me? I can sense your presence, you know.
The kidnappers who abducted Camilla knew about those powers. This is no ordinary kidnapping. It looks like my wife's case isn't coming to an end after all. Excuse me, I'm the only one who thought it was. Detective Chowd! There's still time before dawn. A little, anyway. How about you see this case through to the end before you die? Alright, an impossible move. Camilla was a quiet little girl, but she was good with her hands. She was a little genius at making elaborate toys and contraptions. But there were two very strange points about that contraption. The first was, of course, the firing of that gun. Right, that was an antique gun. I'd had it on display for years. So it wasn't part of the little lady's original design. Of course it wasn't. It was supposed to be a surprise for her mother's birthday. And the other strange point was the movement of that Cupid. Cupid? It's the same exact trap as the one that killed Lynn. So it's literally the same exact trap. So I do have to wonder. It was supposed to shoot its arrow without turning around. But first of all, why would it have an arrow that was like, why would it be able to shoot? I need to stop questioning things. I need to stop questioning. Just take the story for what it is. Somebody made a change to the contraption's design and then manipulated it. I don't know what to say. I didn't have time to think things through then. All I knew was I had to protect Camilla. I made a small adjustment to the scene and turned myself in. Well, the thing is though, it wasn't, she didn't, I mean, you can't really prove that she didn't do it on purpose. I mean, that's where you get Phoenix Wright in to protect them. Adjustment to the scene. What kind of adjustment? The gun, of course. The gun, eh? Come to think of it. There was no gun there, just a picture hanging on the wall. Of course not, because I secretly switched the gun out of that frame with the picture. I didn't believe what she had told me about her contraption, but one thing was for certain. That gun was still smoking. So that gun really did shoot Alma! I hid the gun before I went to the police. You hid it? I put it in a wooden box and gave it to a certain detective. What? You mean? And that detective still thinks it's a music box. Oh. Roku Kapasopa. And so that's what's in the box, huh? I got a different murder weapon ready to give to the police. My own pistol. And I did a few other things to make it look good. I won't go into the details. When I was all done, I turned myself in. Alright. That explains all that then, huh? Alright. Detective John, is that what... Detective John, is what you told us just now true? Yes, of course. In that case, there's still time! Still time. Time to solve that case that started 5 years ago! You didn't do it, Detective John, and of course little Camilla didn't do it either. So the true perpetrator's still out there, and I'm going to prove it! For Camilla's sake! That sounds wonderful. Thank you, Detective Jowd. Lynn, where's that music box now? In Timsick Park. Camilla left it there. That gun is important evidence. You better go pick it up. And Detective Cabanel's like, okay, sure, I'm just gonna listen to all of this. Anyway, is this a new track? I think this might be a new track. Anyway, let's listen to this slightly muted new track because of recording, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.